If there's one thing video games have prepared me for, it's the zombie apocalypse. Dead Nation taught me how to deal with angry hordes when they attack in huge numbers. Typing of the Dead showed us that the undead are no match for awesome secretarial skills. And Dying Light proved that, as long as you're skilled in the ways of parkour, you're pretty much good to go. But as one of only a few VR zombie games, the only thing anyone wants to know is if Contagion VR Outbreak is better than Arizona Sunshine and Killing Floor Incursion. After hearing that Contagion was less than stellar on PC VR, I tempered my expectations for the PlayStation version, which is probably why I was pretty shocked at how great Contagion initially looks and feels. The first level sets up the outbreak with a ton of exposition. There's been an incident in your apartment building, your girlfriend's calling your cell phone over and over, the news tells you to stay inside, which of course we're not about to do, and the first zombie you encounter is somebody you actually know. It's a great setup to a narrative that ultimately goes nowhere. Within minutes you're out on the street, where you'd expect to see huge swarms of the undead posing a monumental threat. After all, they've already taken over the city. But instead there's just a few here and there, never posing any real challenge or even coming close to threatening your ammo supply. At first it seems like Contagion's going for a Dead Island vibe, leaning hard into exploration, giving the player the ability to search through luggage and bodies for survival tools. But it's a mechanic that's tremendously underutilized. Searching through drawers and cabinets almost never yields anything, and even stocking up on health, something we've been trained to do by countless zombie games before it, is just going to take up inventory slots and will most likely never get used. And when you finish the first level, loaded to the gills with guns, ammo, and health, you start the next level in the tradition of World War Z, completely empty-handed as a new character in a different location altogether. This is also when you find out that level 1 got most of the attention when it comes to graphical polish and storytelling.
Touche.
And as it turns out, Chapter 1 was the Contagion game I was excited about. Don't get me wrong, the entire game suffers from rough voice acting, repeated character models, and janky animation, but it's not really until Chapter 2 starts that Contagion's low budget becomes overtly apparent. Expanding the environments to a much larger open area means the graphics take a substantial hit, and the action comes to a screeching halt by introducing the player to a mildly intriguing puzzle room for the better part of the next 20 minutes, which is followed up by a short-lived escort mission and one of the least impressive boss fights in recent memory. But nothing is stranger than Chapter 3, which puts you in the shoes of a little girl and plays out like one giant escape room, but feels like it was designed by an entirely different team for a completely different game. I'm not opposed to variety, in fact I applaud the developers for trying something new with the genre, but this feels like a piece of experimental DLC, rather than the last third of the zombie shooter I was just playing. Before I come off as hating Contagion, I have to say that despite all the issues, I still had a lot of fun with the game. There's a variety of untraditional melee weapons scattered around, and beating a zombie over the head with an acoustic guitar will never get old. And as far as the more realistic weapons go, Contagion includes a firing range with every weapon in the game, and a series of minigames that'll give you a chance to learn each gun and how to reload it properly before facing the outbreak. Plus, the team over at Monochrome are obviously committed to their game, considering they've already delivered 3 huge patches to their game since launch, fixing practically every technical issue I'd encountered. The question that's been asked more than any other over the last week has been, is Contagion better than Arizona Sunshine or Killing Floor Incursion? And although it's a little unfair to compare the games simply because they all have zombies in them, after playing for a while, the answer is still clear. Contagion feels more like a budget title than either of the other two, never offers the huge hordes of Freds that Arizona Sunshine does so frequently, and can't match the polished graphics, melee, and dismemberment of Zeds in Killing Floor Incursion. But Contagion VR Outbreak offers up something a little bit different that, for zombie fans, still justifies a purchase, and with Chapter 4 coming out at some point, I'm curious to see what they'll do next.